welcome to another tutorial. My name is Laura, and today I want to show you how I made this Tila bracelet. Now, this is basically just 2 rows of square stitched Tila beads sewn together, and I'll show you how I did that. But how I got the idea was I was starting to make a bracelet that was just one width of a Tila bead, and I was going to make like a wrap bracelet, which I still may do because I think those are cute too. And then I got to thinking, well, what if I put them together and added another bead? So right in through here, it just looks like a little, another unit, almost like a little right angle weave unit. So that's what I did. And I think this one turned out nice, and it's kind of elegant looking and lacy looking with the gold and the off-white. And today I'm gonna make a peach colored one. So what we're gonna need are some peach full-size Tila beads, and you'll only need about this size, which is, I think this is 7 grams, but it's about 2 inches of the Tila beads, some 11-ohs. I'm gonna do a bead and loop closure, so I've got an 8mm crystal and 2 4mm bicones. I'm using 8-pound Fireline in white and a size 11 beading needle. So if that's something you'd like to see, please hit the like button, come back, and we'll get started. Okay, so for this bracelet, you're gonna need 2 single strips of Tila beads sewn in a square stitch with picots on both sides, and I'm going to show you how I did that, and then we'll sew them together. I've gone ahead and made this strip off camera, and I'm going to start the second half right now. Now for me, it usually takes about between 28 and 30 full-size Tila beads to be a good fit for me, and that's about 6 inches. So you might have to experiment on what works for you. And we're gonna just pick up a Tila bead. Now Tila beads, they're more curved on one side than the other. And it's a very subtle difference. Now, I feel like this right here is curved a little bit more and this is flatter. So I'm going to try and pick up each Tila bead the same way, and that is by going through the second set of holes on the right side, like that, right here. But honestly, I would not worry about it too much because it's such a subtle difference that you can barely even notice it. So I'm going to pick up my Tila bead, go through that second set of holes, pull through, and I'm leaving about a 12-inch tail in case I want to use that to sew in the clasp. And I'm going to pick up 3 11-oh seed beads, and I'm going to go down the opposite hole and pull through. Okay, I'm going to pick up 3 more Tila beads. I'm sorry, 3 more 11-ohs. And I'm going to go through that second set of holes again, like so, and pull. I haven't used a stop bead on this, but feel free if you need to. I just feel like it gets in the way, so. Okay, so we've got our first unit with a picot on both sides, and I'm going to pick up my next Tila the same way, checking for the little curve on top. And you're coming out of the top here. You're just going to go through the bottom. Going to kind of move this picot out of the way, like so. And pull that through. And that will get your next unit on. And now you're going to sew down that first set of holes, like so. We're going to pick up 3 11-ohs, go in that second hole, we're going to pick up 3 more 11-ohs, go down that first set of holes like that. Pull that through. And now you've got 2 units on. And that's really it. I'll keep going and show you a few more, and that will be the length of your bracelet. Now I'm going to sew through this picot to get to that second set of holes. I'm going to sew through that picot and up that second set like that. If you have to kind of move this picot out of the way a little bit, that's fine. So now we're coming out of this top of the second set, and we're going to add another Tila. Coming out of the top, I'm going to go into the bottom. Pull through. Oh, got caught on my pliers here. And now you've got your third Tila on. I'm going to sew down that first set of holes like so. We're going to put on our next picot. 3 11-ohs. Go up. Oh, that's 2. 3 11-ohs. Go up that second set of holes. And sometimes you're going to want to give a tug on the tail thread just to keep the tension tight. Pick up 3 more 11-ohs. You're going to go in to the top of that first set of holes like so, and you'll have the other side of your picot on. You're going to go up that picot and up. You got to kind of make sure your picot stays a picot. Up that second set of holes again to add our next Tila on. Let's see, pick up our next Tila. Okay, it looks like the curve is going this way. But like I said, it's so subtle that I wouldn't sweat it. Coming out of the top, you're going to go into the bottom. And then we're just gonna go down. Make sure you go down that first set of holes again before you add your picots, or they won't lay right. Pick up 3 more 11-ohs. Go up that second set of holes, like so. Pick up 3 more 11-ohs. Go down that first set of holes. And if you go through one of the picot beads, that's fine, because you're always going to go through that picot again to get to the other set of holes. We're going to go up. Now we got 4 on. I'll do one more. Pick up the picot. You're coming out of the top of that second set of holes. You're going to go through the bottom. And that's basically a square stitch. Going to come down that first set of holes and start to add your picot. Okay, and that's what you're going to do for the whole length of your bracelet. So get that done and come back and we'll do the next step. Okay, so I finished up my matching strip. I've got 30 Tilas on this strip and 30 Tilas on this strip. I've sewn in this extra thread, this tail thread on the other piece, and just so that I don't have so many threads that could get tangled up. And what we're going to do, I'm coming out of this top of this set of 2 Tila. I'm just going to sew up through the first 2 seed beads, 11-ohs of that picot. Pull through. Okay, and you're going to make sure you line up the 2 picots together so that this middle 11-oh and this middle 11-oh are facing each other. And you're going to just pick up another 11-oh. And so up through and do this so you can see it better. I'll do it with my left hand if I can. Up through this middle seed bead on the other side, pull through. And then we're going to take one more seed bead and go through this way through that middle seed bead on the other side picot and pull. And then, as you can see, it's attached together with this unit here. And all we're going to do now is we're going to sew through up and around to get to this picot. Do the same thing here, here, and all the way down. So you just have to find the easiest way for you to hold it. And it's a little clumsy when you're trying to get it done, but as you kind of zip it up, you get a better grip on it. So I'm coming out of this 11-0 here. I'm going to go down. I don't want to go through that other 11-0. I'm going to go down that set of holes there. And then I'm just going to follow the thread path and go down. You know how we went down? This set of holes, pull through, and I'm gonna weave through till I get to this middle picot on this side, pull through. We're gonna just do the same thing over and over again. I'm gonna pick up an 11-0, coming out of this middle picot, go up through this one. Pick up another 11-0, come down now through this middle 11-0, and now we've connected the first two together. You can kind of see how nice and lacy that's looking in the middle there. And then I'm going to sew around, and this is kind of neat because it reinforces your piece too, because you've got to sew around to get out at the right place to put your next, connect your next set of picots together to make a unit, if that makes sense. Once you start doing it, you'll know, you'll see. So I'm coming down, I'm going to go through this first 11-0, then hop over to this middle 11-0. This kind of got caught here. Do the same thing again. We're going to hop over to this middle. By putting a picot on each side, you're having a middle bead that's kind of sticking out, and that's where the connection is. So I'm going to pick up an 11-0. And you just have to kind of judge how tight you think it is. It's probably a good idea to reinforce once before you move on to the next connection. So that's what I'm going to start doing. So I'm going to reinforce this little unit here one more time before I move on. And then I'm going to go just follow the thread path. Always just follow the thread path to get to the next spot where you want to come out. So I'm going to need to jump over here. Sew up this side of this Tila. And now I'm going to need to come down I'm going to come down this side of this first 11-0 and hop over to the middle 11-0 to set myself up to put on and connect the other unit. Okay, so you just always have to make sure it's lined up with the corresponding Tila that you want to connect it to. So I'm going to pick up an 11-0. I'm going to go up this middle 11-0 on this side of this picot. Go up. Take another 11-0. And you're going to go down this 11-0 here, and that makes a unit like so. See, now we've got 4 connected. This is the first one. It's connected by this little unit in the middle, which I feel like it looks like a little right angle weave unit. And now we're going to head over and try to get the 5th one connected. So I'm going to go through. Oh wait, first, like I said, I want to reinforce. So I'm going to reinforce. That way it keeps your beads, the tension really nice, and reinforcing the beads never hurts. Okay, so I'm going to come down. Whoops, make sure you go through the right 11-0. It's a little tricky to do while you're trying to film it. And now I'm going to go through this next seed bead, 11-0, staying in the thread path, and then going through that Tila. I'm just going to keep following the thread path. I'll do one more. And then all you do is you do that all the way down. And then we'll be ready to put a clasp on already. So it's so pretty for something that really doesn't take a really long time to do. So now I'm hopping over to this middle 11-0. Gonna pick up an 11-0, go up this 11-0, pick up another 11-0, going to go down this 11-0. And then I'm going to reinforce. Just hold it whatever way is comfortable for you to go through the thread path. I'm going to sew up this side of this Tila now. I don't want to get into that seed bead because I want to keep in the thread path. So I'm coming up like this, pull, and then I'm going to sew around. Go through this middle seed bead, pick up on 11-0, go through like so. Pick up another one, go through that middle seed bead, and pull. And that is your connection. You're going to do that all the way down, making sure you're connecting by that middle seed bead on each picot. So after we get that done, we'll come back and then we will go on to the next step. So I've sewn all the way down, and I've attached both sides of each strip of Tila beads to each other, and I'm loving how it turned out. I feel like it's a very feminine looking lacy type bracelet because you can kind of see through the beads there. Same as on this one. And I'm coming out of this, I sewed around until I'm coming out of this bead, and I'm going to start putting on my bead closure. So I'm going to pick up 2 11-0s, 1 4mm bicone, 1 11-0, the 8mm crystal, and then 3 11-0. So this is what's on my needle. Gonna drop that down, and we're gonna put another picot up on top here. So we're gonna skip those 3, go through that the top of that 8mm crystal, and come down. I'm then going to pick up one more. You know what, I think I'm going to just go through, rather than add another side bead, I'm going to go through this 11-0, through the 4mm bicone, and pull that through. And then I'm just going to add 2 more 11-0s, and I'm going to go through this bead here. And pull, and then we've got the bead part, and on this side I'm just going to do a loop, and it will be a bead and loop closure. So I'm gonna go off camera, sew in my threads, and I'll be back to do the other side. So I've got the one end of my clasp on. I've got a crystal bead here, and then I've gone ahead and reinforced it 2 more times. Just sew up and around and down, and then tie off your thread. And I'm coming out of, sew it around till I'm coming out of this bead here, and I'm going to take 2 11-0s, 1 4mm, and then we're going to pick up about 20 to 22, I'm going to go with 21 11-0s to make the loop part. Here I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Now that's what I found for me. When I sew this in, it's going to be big enough to be a loop around this crystal here. Now, if you're using Toho, you might need less because Toho are a little bit bigger. So I'm going to skip all of them, go back through the bicone, we've got our loop, and now I'm going to do the other side of this part of the clasp, and I'm just picking up 2 more 11-ohs and going through the other side of that 11-oh. And there we go. We're just going to reinforce that by going up and around through the beads again. Coming down through that bicone again into that other leg of the clasp. I'm going to sew through the other side, and I think I'm going to reinforce it one more time. So I'm going to go up through this leg, through the bicone, up through the beads, if you can go through more than one, you can do that. Just however many you can pick up. And I'm going to go back down through the bicone, through that outer leg, these 2 8-ohs right here. And so I've reinforced that twice. I'm going to now just sew through the thread path and tie a few 1/2 inch knots and burn my thread off. Let's tie another one over here. You're just grabbing a teeny bit of that thread in between the Tila and the 11-ohs. And I'm going to sew up some more. Go down another Tila. So one more knot. Let's go back a little bit here. I like to get a little piece of thread in between the Tilas, like so. Right, and then I'm just going to sew down. beads. Let's go down. One more Tila. Then I'm confident that that's all sewn in really well. I'm going to burn that thread off. And we have our finished bracelet, which is a bead and loop closure, which closes like this. So here is our finished bracelet on. And I really love this pattern. And I think I'm going to get some more Tila beads and make a few more in different colors. I have a craft show coming up in August. I think I'd like to see how these sell. And really, see, I've got at least a third of this tube left after I made this. So it doesn't take a lot of materials to make this. So thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and you'll be notified of every time I upload a new video. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.